Lydia barreled over to us. I'm having so much fun. Can you believe I'm only a freshman here? Like, this totally has to be a huge mark to my social standing. And can you imagine, I mean, what if I get asked to prom too? Lydia screeched so loudly that half of the room turned around to glare. Lydia, Jane whispered, please. Lydia didn't hear her, or more likely chose to ignore her. Caroline! Lydia shouted to stunned Caroline. So, like, during spring break, we're going to Vera for our prom dresses? I mean, for Jane's dress? Do you know if a freshman has gone to prom, like, ever? Carolyn looked at Lydia with even more disgust than she usually reserved for me. No, she said dismissively. Prom is for junior women at Longbourn. While it is a tradition for most women to be taken by men from Pemberley, some exceptions are made. She shot a look at me. But any straying from custom is frowned upon. I just need to make a note. Carolyn's not British, but she spent the previous semester in London, so she's one of those people who, like, spends, like, a week somewhere and it's like, oh, it was lovely, much love, we took the loo, and blah, 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 you know. Yeah, so that's her. So she's not. She's from New York, so I don't know her problem is. Anyway, but any straying from customs is frowned upon. Do you want to come with us to Vera? I will be spending my vacation in Greece. Lydia squealed again. That's so awesome! Carolyn nodded coldly. I mean, I wish we were going somewhere, but no. Lydia started sulking. Like, Daddy got millions in his buyout, so the fact we can't go somewhere fabulous like Greece is so unfair. Lydia? Jane stood up and pulled her sister away from Carolyn. Enough. The majority of the students on our side of the room had heard everything Lydia had said. I'm just having fun, Lydia protested. You're so uptight. Her eyes grew wide and she started jumping up and down. No way. This is like the song from camp this summer. I totally remember the routine we came up with. An up-tempo pop song started playing on the sound system, and before any of us could stop her, Lydia was on the dance floor, spinning around with her arms stretched out. In less than 10 seconds, she cleared a space about 10 feet around her. She was relishing in the attention. Jane was horrified. Please make her stop. Her voice was nearly inaudible. I headed over to the platform. Lydia was doing something that looked like the Charleston, but with her usual manic energy. She started spinning her fists in the air, shouting, woo, every few seconds. I could hear the snickering as I passed through the crowd. Lydia? I got as close to the platform as I could safely get without bringing too much attention to myself or getting kicked in the face by Lydia's current attempt to channel a rockhead. Her performance was agony to watch. How Lydia could have thought she was impressing people was beyond me. I wanted to look away, but it was one of those horrifying scenes that you just can't take your eyes off of. Just when I thought it couldn't get worse, she did jazz hands. Full-on, Broadway-style jazz hands. When the song was over, Lydia took a deep bow. A few of the guys started whistling while the majority of Longbourn girls were laughing. A few had even recorded the dance on their phones. Poor Jane. Oh! Lydia exclaimed when the next song came on. I quickly grabbed her arm. Lydia, let me go! She protested. I ignored her and dragged her along until Colin stepped in my path. Why, Lydia, that was delightful, he said. Thanks, she replied. You really have such a great enthusiasm. I haven't seen leaps like that since an evening I spent at Joffrey Ballet during fall break last year. I remember that time of year so well because it was unseasonably warm. The program was a delightful one. You may have enjoyed it yourself. Colin was making things worse. What we needed was to get Lydia out of there, but Colin was prolonging the embarrassment by giving a full, detailed review of her performance. Finally, Jane couldn't take it anymore. She rushed over and grabbed Lydia and walked her outside. Oh, well. Colin was taken aback by Lydia's abrupt... sorry. It's so hard. I'm like, oh, it's different voices. Colin was taken back by Lydia's abrupt departure. So, Elizabeth, dare we take the dance floor again in hopes of repeating that splendid performance given by Lydia? There wasn't an ounce of sarcasm in his voice. He was being completely sincere. I glanced at the door. I really needed to go help Jane, or possibly prevent a murder. Fortunately, Charlotte came to the rescue. Colin, I was hoping you could tell me more about your family sailboat. While Charlotte was getting an earful, I dashed outside. Jane was sitting on the curb, shivering. Jane, I said, it's freezing out here. Come inside. I can't. I'm so humiliated. Where's Lydia? I don't know, and I honestly don't care. She ran off when I was trying to reason with her. She has zero respect for me, our family, our school. Charles, I didn't know what to say. I would do anything for Jane, but I couldn't turn back time.